Well, hi folks, this is Darren with My RV Works. It's a privilege to work with you on answering some of your questions. What we have going on now is a session we call 10 Minutes with a Tech, and it's just a real simple thing. People will watch our videos, they'll ask questions down in the comments, and we review those questions and we pull them out and we have an opportunity to answer those questions. And so if you like this kind of a thing where we're going to cover all kinds of different topics on these Q&As, and so make sure you click the bell, subscribe, like, all those types of things, so when these come out, you're able to get that information right away. Maybe there's a piece of information in there that we share that might be what you need, or you might know a friend that needs this information. So without any further ado, let's jump right into some of these questions. Thanks for watching. Our next question is coming from Michael in Bel Air, Kansas. And now on a side note, my wife and I, before I started doing an RV tech type gig, I was a control systems engineer, and we did some work in Wichita, Kansas, which is just directly south of Bel Air, Kansas. We worked at the Spirit Aerosystems plant working on the Boeing 77. We worked for a contractor that was doing aerospace automation, and that's the kind of work I did prior to this. So yay, how about that? Did it for 30 years. It was awesome. And now I'm your RV technician. Yeah, man, shoot. So anyway, I'm just having fun. So Michael's got a simple question. He watched our Schwintek video where we're talking about the motors. I've got some carcasses here. This is what I was able to find real quick. And remember that video I was showing you, and we'll make a link up above here on the video where I do the parts breakdown. But that motor kind of popped out of its little, there we go. It popped out and it was spinning around. And what's preventing that from happening is there's these screws on the back side of the H column that screw into this little D window, or that little oval window, that keep that motor engaged with its bearing block, okay? And so one of the homework assignments that I asked you guys to do was to go make sure that that screw's there. Several calls I've gone on, it's these wires up to, you see these wires are all twisted and torn up. It's because that motor popped out and it spun itself around when it was being told to turn, and it was told to turn, and it turned, and it just ripped its wires out. And that's what we have going on here. So he basically, we don't need that anymore. He did his homework and he saw that the screws were missing. And so his question is, what are those screws? Okay. And so what I have here is a piece of an H column, which I will use for show and tell from here until forever. And this is where the motor goes. Let's see if we can fit this in here. There we go. So the bearing block fits in here. Now this H column is wider than the bearing block because they did a reconfiguration. They changed some things around and the parts don't fit the way they used to. So that's no problem, it's progress. So the motor fits right on top like that. The other video shows you. And then that screw, let me get you closer. So there we go. There's my little slot for the motor, and there's a screw that the screw goes in. So his question, what screw is that? Okay. And so what I did, I went to the Lippert support website. I'm going to give it to you, so grab a pen and paper and write this down. I'll also make a link down in the description below, but it's going to be, are you ready? Everybody got a pen and paper to write this down for all things Lippert in-wall system, all things Lippert Schwintek. support.lci1.com. support.lci1.com/in-wall-slide-out. Okay? support.lci1.com/in-wall-slide-out. So it's not slide out, it's slide-out. But if you just go to lci1.com, along the left-hand side, you'll see all these options on lci1.com, the number 1. Down on the side, you'll see support. When you click on support, you'll say support documentation. You click on that, you'll get a big window with all things Lippert, and you'll go down, down, down. You'll click on slide rooms. When you open up the slide rooms, it's all Lippert slide rooms. And then down towards the bottom left, as of today, you'll find the Lippert in-wall, which is a Schwintek, which is all of this. Once you get into that window, once you get into that pane, there's all kinds of service manuals. There's even videos. Not as good as mine, of course not, but there's all kinds of service videos on there. So lots of information there. They do a fantastic job of training people. I've been to some of the Lippert schools and some of the finest training I've had at the Lippert factory, and it's really great. So to his question, I took my taps, okay, and what I found was a 4mm 0.75 pitch is the size that fits the best. Okay, so I tried SAE and I tried metric. So for this screw right here, go to a hardware store. If you're in Bel Air, they have some great tool hardware stores. I had fun shopping there. And just go get a screw, I would say no longer than a 1/2 inch. And what I like to do when I'm doing these jobs, I'll drop a little drop of blue thread locker on that screw because it's a very important screw. And I want to be able to take it out if I need to, but I just need a little bit of hold down there. It's a metal screw going into a piece of aluminum. And so if that aluminum fatigues, you can see the problem. But that's what this is factory, that's what it was. Now, if it fell out, it's very possible that it's wallowed itself out. So go with a bigger size screw. Go with a 5mm, or you can tap it into whatever you want to. You're going into aluminum. But it was basically a machine thread screw, okay? 4mm by 0.75 is what I got here. And about 1/4 inch, about 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. You don't want it to be too long because then you got plenty of room in there. Let me show you that. See if we can get that in there. Let's see here, where's everybody? But you see, you got plenty of room there. So if you were to go in about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, I think that screw is going to bond through the H-column aluminum and then get into this little oval window to hold that motor in place. Okay? There's that. Michael, I hope that helped. And if we're ever back down that way, there were some great restaurants. We loved them. It was awesome. So hope this helps, and we'll see everybody on the next question. Our next question is coming from Corey, and he's got a preventative maintenance type question regarding his rack and pinion type slide system. So this would be typically, if I understand Corey's question, it's just a real simple one sentence thing, but it's the kind that's got the rams underneath, the little tooth bars facing down, and it would have those gear teeth, those gear packs, either 15 or 18 teeth, and a square drive shaft between the two that are moving the ram in and out. You find those mostly on slide rooms with a drop floor, okay? And so his question is, for lubricating those, okay, would I recommend the CRC Power Lube with PTFE? I'll put a link down below for this. Get it from Amazon or wherever. I get mine from Amazon, buy it in the cases. Would you recommend the CRC Power Lube for rack and pinion style? He's been using WD-40 and the WD-40 slide out silicone lube, and thanks for the videos. Well, you're welcome, Corey. So my take on that, now on those racks, okay, if you were to look at those racks and take it out, put it on a bench and take it apart, what you're going to find, see, this is a trick question, Corey. You're throwing a trick question at me. You're going to find these little polyethylene hard plastic glides, okay? So the weight of the room is on these rollers, the big metal rollers on that tooth gear, okay? And that whole ram is being driven in and out on these big metal rollers with these little hard polyethylene, I guess, poly something, metal glides, metal guides that are moving it in and out. Okay, so because those are plastic, there's really nothing to lubricate. That's the trick part of this question. What I did one just last week. They were having problems with their slide room. Same kind of slide room you're talking about, Corey. And they had sprayed the official RV rack lubricating spray. And they were saying that it was skipping, and it didn't break any parts, it didn't skip any teeth, but the clutch inside that motor was clutching and it was having a hard time going in and out. You know what I found? The lubricant that they had been using, or wherever, maybe it wasn't them, maybe it was the shop that they were taking it to, was spraying this thing, and you could still see this white kind of lithium looking stuff. If you were to touch that, it was sticky, very, very sticky. And so that ram had to overcome all the stickiness of that lubricant in order to move. So that poor slide room had to overcome all the weight of the room going in and out, plus all the sticky stuff on that ram. So we degreased all that. And on that instance, I did spray it with a Teflon. And I would have liked to have put an amp reading on the motor going in and out, but the motor I would have had to have taken the underbelly out and all that. I could have done it at the battery, I guess, but it would have been really interesting to have done an amp reading on that motor before I did anything, and then after I degreased it and put the Teflon on it, and to see what the difference is in that motor. What we do know is it sounded a lot better and it went in a lot smoother than it did with the lubricant that they had before. That's why I say it's a trick question. Personally, leave it dry. I do not lubricate it at all. None. Why? Because the weight of that ram is rolling on metal rollers, and there's little plastic glides on the sides and the top, and then on the back of that roller, the part you can't see that goes way inside, there's another metal roller that's kind of the cantilever side of that. So it's these big metal rollers that are rolling within themselves, and the little plastic guides are the guides to keep it in alignment. Okay, I don't lubricate any of those. Keep them dry. Okay, if I were going to lubricate anything, then yes, I would use the product with the Teflon in it. Okay, it goes on wet and then it dries. Okay, it's not going to collect any dust. It's not going to collect any dirt. You could fry an egg on it because it's Teflon. I'm joking. I don't even use. I'm a cast iron, but I don't even have anything Teflon. So hopefully, Corey, that answered your question. But for those of you who have those rams that on the bottom, they got the teeth thing angling out. If you have a drop floor, more than likely that's predominantly what you're going to have most of the time. I leave them dry. I leave them dry. And let those metal rollers do what the metal rollers are supposed to do, and let those little plastic guides do what the plastic guides are supposed to do, and leave them dry. If I had to lubricate it, then this is what I would use. Okay, so Corey, I hope that helps. On to the next question. Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today for me to answer some questions. It is certainly a privilege to be able to read these questions to people asking me, and I just kind of put myself, well, what would I do if I was there? How would I approach this? And that's the best thing I could do to sew back into you folks. If you like this content, please subscribe to our channel, give us a thumb up, share it with some friends, and you could support us on Patreon. There's different tiers that you could pick from with different benefit packages for the different tiers. You could support us that way because it does take some effort to put these things together. If you need some things, some tools on our website, you can go to our myrvworks.com website, and on our store tab you can gain access to our affiliate links from Amazon. We've even got some merchandise people have been asking about, so we've got hats and cups and t-shirts and things like that available for you with our myrvworks logo on it. And then we've also got some tools that I make, some tools. I've been doing this for a while, and I started to make some tools, and we've just kind of been making those better and better and refining them, and so now we're offering those for sale as well, and you can find that on our store link right there. So I want to thank you on behalf of everybody at myrvworks. It does take a team effort back behind us, and we want to thank you for your time. It is certainly a privilege. Happy campers say myrvworks, and we hope that you will be a happy camper. Thank you for watching.